And we are live. What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and this live stream is dedicated to the life of Patrick Day. Of course, we know he lost his battle due to a brutal knockout in Saturday night's event on the undercard of the Matchroom event of Eddie Hearn and Ibrahim. Counterpunch to you, brother. Rest in peace, Patrick. Respect from Wembley. Counterpunch, brother. You know, I just read on React to Tywin Boost new video. I haven't seen that yet. Chris Serrano, Counterpunch, brother. Philip Carl Roberts. That's it. R.I.P. Patrick Day. Benatti, salute. Counterpunch to you. David Wendell from Sheffield. Counterpunch to you. You guys, it's sad when anybody that has a good spirit dies. Okay, you know, it would be poetic justice if everybody that was an asshole kicked the bucket. However, I don't think it works that way. I think, you know, when you have your time, it's your time. And Patrick Day did something that he loved doing. You know, of course, we know Eddie Hearn. He had a lot to say. You know, for someone he only met, you know, for seconds. Gentleman's Game. What's up, brother? Oh, really? You got a notification? Well, that's good. That's a start, right? I'm glad you're here, brother. Brittany Devine. Yeah, R.I.P. to Patrick Day. You know, we have Gervonta Tank Davis. You know, he's showing his condolences along with the WBC, the World Boxing Council. Gervonta Tank Davis, damn man, rest easy, Patrick Day. Prayers to your family and your friends. You know, Gennady Golovkin, you know, our deepest condolences to the family, friends, and the team of Patrick Day. Rest in peace, Pat. And Ashley Theo Payne, rest in peace to Patrick Day, 27 years old. Dude, 27 is very, very young. You know what I mean? It doesn't excuse it. You know, I mean, it's unfortunate for this guy because I know he loved what he did. And 17 wins, 4 losses, I think 6 by KO. I know he wanted to do a lot more in the sport than he done. I don't think he wanted to go out like that necessarily. But these things happen. Now, what's to come to the sport of boxing? How can we make this safer? You know, how can we make the sport any safer than it already has been? You know, gloves, oxygen in the corner. You know, I'm not really sure on that because it's a brutal sport. You know, we have to remember something very important. We have to remember that this sport is very, very Tyrone Macklemore, a fighter, passed away by the name of Patrick Day. This is for him. He was born August 9th, 1992, and of course he died the 16th, which was yesterday, at 27 years of age. He died from brain trauma sustained and by a knockout, lost to Charles Conwell. Okay, so that's what happened in a nutshell. Yeah, the medical teams, right, Philip, they responded quickly, so they can't say that it was a reason like that somebody that didn't do their job, you know, promptly enough. That wasn't the case. None of that was. The fact of the matter was, you know, everyone was there. You know, everyone was responsible for their own job to help him. You know, I just believe it was his time. You know, I mean, you got a guy with over 20 pro fights, so you know, actually, he had 22 total fights. You know, I mean, that's not a hell of a lot, but, he's definitely a prospect at that point. Antonio Matthews, great counterpunch. See, things like this, the sport, knowing how dangerous and deadly the sport is all by itself, illegal punches like hits behind the head should be penalized and should be more stern, because we have to remember something. We can't forget that Pritchard Colon is a vegetable right now. He's not dead, no. But, I mean, what quality of life does he have? How did that happen? He got hit behind the head. He felt dizzy. He didn't feel well. He fell into a coma. And when he woke up, he was a vegetable. Gentlemen's game. We need to bring awareness to boxing. Fighters need to check out by doctors before stepping into the ring what they did before entering the ring. That's absolutely true. Because who's to say, and it's not a scandal, these things happen, but who's to say he didn't have anything wrong with him before he got in there? Not trying to spread shit, not trying to talk shit, but at least we would know to have a peace of mind and knowing that everything that we possibly could do, we done, or possibly that could have happened. Okay? Has anything changed in boxing in the last year or so that fighters are getting severe injuries, hydration, etc.? You know what, Jim Brown? I think that hydration I think you should make weight the day before, and that should be it. I don't think there should be a restriction of hydration, because, who's to say how, as long as you made the proper weight, why not? Let this be. Because for one, if you don't hydrate to the proper body capacity, you could end up getting a stroke right there, dying from something like that. I don't care what type of fighter you are. You shouldn't tell another fighter what they need to be after they've already made weight. That's just stupid. It's being a diva. You have to feel for the other guy as well, knowing that the opponent died. Wilder would be, though, if it was him. Well, Eddie B, I do feel for Charles Conwell, because, he's just as much as a victim. And he's more like, if you wanted to just point the fucking finger at somebody, you could do that, because he's the guy that inflicted the damage on the fighter. If you wanted to be a dick, if you wanted to just have somebody to complain to, if you were close friends with Patrick Day, if you were, if you were in his warm circle of people and you were angry and you were mad and you were upset, like, hey, you know what? I need to blame someone. Let's fucking blame Charles Conwell. He didn't have to hit him like that. Charles Conwell was just doing his fucking job. Dies from boxing, and Spence said he was a savage for surviving deaths. Yeah, I know, man. Manny Floyd, that's a counterpunch, and I thought of that. I just don't, look, I wasn't going to say anything really bad about Spence, because I know, hey, I thought he would have learned his lesson. I thought he would be more humble and more thankful for what the fuck happened to him. What he was blessed with is called life. And I bet you something that Patrick Day wishes he would have had. Wishes he would have pulled a Superman Stevenson and came out that damn coma. But it didn't happen like that for him. Okay? And it sucks, because you got motherfuckers like Spence running around here thinking that I'm the shit because I survived a near God-gifted accident, that knowing damn well you're in a two-seat fucking Ferrari of all things, a two-seat Ferrari, and you flipped and got thrown out. A lot of people would call that shit a glitch or a spoof, or you know what I mean? And you live to tell the tale without really being fucked up, whereas people that's being fucked up. You know what I mean? So it's crazy. Yeah. And it just goes to show you the gratitude that people don't have. They don't have any fucking gratitude. He's thinking, oh, man, I'm tough. I'm Superman. I'm a fucking mutant or something. I'm a superhero. I'm a savage. Now, matter of fact, I haven't heard shit about Spence even in regards to Patrick Day. Everybody under the sun has given their condolences. I haven't heard it. Not saying he hasn't said it, but I haven't seen it. You know? And if I'm Errol Spence and I know I just been through a near fucking death experience, and then I find out a boxer that does exactly the same job I do gets killed in the ring, what the fuck am I going to worry about myself for? I should be thankful that I'm going home to my two girls, these beautiful little girls that I have. But there's another man over there that died just like I could have died, if that makes sense to anybody. You know, that's my thing. No fucking gratitude. You know, but again, I could be wrong. He could have said, rest in peace, Patrick Day. Yeah, but all we hear about him is I'm a savage. But then he snatched that shit down. Why'd you snatch it down? You're dick for putting it up there in the first place. People screenshotted that shit. We already seen what you had to say. You didn't have to take it away then. No, don't take it away then. Keep the shit up there. Show people that you're a dickhead. You know, what are you, still drunk? What is it? You know what I mean? That's my thing about people that do shit like that. Yeah, he thought about it later on. Nah, that was probably fucked up. Go on, take that shit down. But, oh, the fucking harm's done now. You got a dead boxer that was doing something he loved to do, that was doing something that he was licensed to do, right? Something that was legal. Brutal, but legal. Meanwhile, you're driving around thinking you're fucking Crockett and Tubbs and Miami Vice and shit in a Ferrari and flip that bitch 10 times. You know? Oh, drunk. You know? So, it's crazy. Manny Floyd, absolutely. Great counterpunch. Mala 2243. Most fighters who die, it happens in the later rounds after taking a lot of punishment. Right. Absolutely. One thing that could be done is to shorten the fights, but fans won't like it. No, they got rules for a reason. They have rules, and it's bad. It's shitty. It's like being a stewardess or a flight attendant on an airplane. And that shit, the duties of the rules, and the risk of flying in a fucking plane and working on a plane, right? So if it goes down, that this is what you signed up for, Unfortunately for Patrick Day, it happened to him. So, but that is true, Mala. It is like constant, somebody constantly getting punished round by round really dies from, repeated head trauma. Okay. Also, commission should have a professional medical staff ringside and clear out to an ambulance. If we can put EMTs at concerts, then why not boxing matches? Well, Brittany, they do at times. They do have doctors that have, that come in, not necessarily EMTs, but you know what I mean? I see what you're saying. I see that, yeah, they should have those type of people to give oxygen, to take them out on the stretcher if they do fall. I do get you on that, because a lot of concerts, they do that. Like Michael Jackson and all these big people used to have these things, like Michael, and they fucking fall all out and shit. And then, they got to get them out of there. They told them out on a stretcher. So, you know what I mean? And they're on standby because they know people are going to lose their mind when they see this Hollywood or this music superstar or whatever. And then they know they have to put them on the stretcher and give them oxygen. So it should be that way for boxing due to the fact that these guys are beating the shit out of each other. So I do understand. I'm with you. I'm with you, Brittany. Great counterpunch. Maybe they could do more between rounds with heart and brain monitors. It seems extreme, and technology would have to improve for it to be practical, but if it would save one's life, it would be worth it. Philip Carl Roberts, I don't know if that would be the thing. I'm going to tell you why. For one, you have a certain element called adrenaline. And see, when your adrenaline's up, it's hard to make a determination because your body is not working properly or not working normally when your adrenaline is high like that. If you're amped and you're at this point that is, you've trained, you've conditioned yourself. and you're ready and you're prepping yourself, you're prepared to fight, and you know you're breathing heavy, your adrenaline's high, you just got them, but you got hurt later on in the round. You know, what are you going to do? You might be cut. Now you're thinking about that. You're thinking about, okay, so if I slip to the left and, you know, or I slip to the right and get up under his jab, maybe I can work the body and hurt him like I did the first fight. So you're thinking in there. So when you put a heart monitor up there, that shit ain't going to be accurate due to the adrenaline that these fighters are on, or, you know, they're on that level at that time. Some fighters can have brain bleeds before they even get into the ring on the fight, and a lot of damage is done in sparring. That is true, you know. That's why they shouldn't be in sparring like that shit Joshua did. You're not supposed to be fucking sparring 8 days before the fight. What's wrong with you? You know? And they only got 3 weeks into sparring anyway when they fought that guy. No wonder he got his ass beat. You know you sparring and you sparring only 3 weeks? What the hell? Come on now. So, yeah, you know, that's true. A lot of these fighters can be damaged before they get in the ring. Tyrone, it just wasn't his time, man. It just wasn't his time? Shit, I don't know. I mean, John Cable. I thought of the ref should have stopped the fight about 2 rounds early, in my opinion. But, you know, rest in peace to Patrick Day. Such a sad loss. A young life makes Wilder's remarks all that more sickening. John Cable, you know, hate to bring Wilder into it, but you know the shit was coming. We knew the shit was coming because you got guys that's in love with the sport of boxing. Then you got other guys that don't appreciate fucking human life. Then you got other guys that boast and talk about stopping and having a body into the ring. You know, I don't know. I think Deontay's just talking shit to be the bad guy. I think he's trying to do that. And if he's serious about it, he would be a sick guy. That's sick. You know what I mean? But I think he was really just trying to sell himself like Floyd, because he knows if I'm not really known like I should have been by now, people will love me because they will hate me. So if you don't want to watch me to see me win, you could watch me to see me lose. Let's hope that's the best possible outcome for Wilder. But what he did say, he said more than that, and you know, and other things, and it wasn't cool. But this does reflect like, damn, this is something you say you wanted to do, like Charles Conwell did. Okay? Yeah, the same day weigh-ins. No, Antonio Matthews, that's no good. That shit was killing people. You know, that's the reason why they have it a day before. In Cheetah, they use drugs in boxing. Shall never be in box. Well, you know, here's the thing. All these guys that died, those opponents, all was clean. So, got to ask yourself, you know, you can't even bring that in a factor in any of these fights. It's unnecessary. Okay? Because none of these guys tested positive for anything. Now, the unfortunate fucking day that happens, we might have a lawsuit. We might have a real serious problem. But the good thing is that none of these guys were on anything. They never tested positive for anything. They did their job. They went in there and they defeated their opponent, and those opponents fell in either death or, you know, in death. You know, all 3 of them. These guys were clean fighters. It just happened that way. You know, so we gotta, let's take drugs out of it until drugs can become a factor. Drugs is not a factor in any of these incidents. None of them. Okay? So, gotta counterpunch that shit. You know what I mean? Because, yeah, it's shitty for drugs, but yeah, drugs is unnecessary. It's an unnecessary topic right now. It really is. Maybe Spence was just shook by the whole experience, and making those kinds of posts is how he deals with it. Fake confident. Jimmy the Gent. Maybe so, Jimmy the Gent. Maybe so. You know, maybe that's why he took it down. Maybe he thought like, you know what? I shouldn't have done that shit. Maybe I shouldn't have done that shit. Let's take that shit down. You know, I'm still buzzing off the whatever, the buzz balls or whatnot. All right? Errol Spence is an alcoholic. I know Errol Spence is a party animal. I don't know about an alcoholic. He might be suffering from alcoholism. You know, this is probably something. And Errol Spence, Start hanging with them Charlos, going to clubs and shit and meeting chicks, and they got a little bread, and and they toting around looking like drug dealers or whatnot. Flashy, flamboyant, young, cocky, black, and free. Yeah, pull out the Cristal, pull out the Opus One. That type of shit. You can get used to that, doing that Tony Montana like lifestyle, sitting in nightclubs and VIP. I don't think he's been doing that his whole career. I think that just started, and maybe he can't handle it. You know what I mean? Cutting weight, dehydration coming into that, lessening the body chance of recovery when you're hurt. Your body is healing. Yep. Gentleman's game. You're absolutely right. That's why they don't have the same day weigh-ins like they used to. That shit was killing people. People would just, and look, these motherfuckers would go 40 rounds. Crazy. I don't think this happened just in that ring that night with Patrick Day. I think it was built up of the blows over the years. Maybe I'm wrong. Show me. Maybe so. These guy's a New York guy. He died in Chicago, born in Freeport, New York. He was born to Haitian immigrants in Freeport, New York, and was the youngest of 4 sons. So he's the baby, Christ. His father was a doctor who used to box as a child, while his mother, Lisa, was a translator at the United Nations. During his professional boxing career, he earned an associate degree in nutrition from Nassau Community and a bachelor's degree in health and wellness from Kaplan University. Ain't that a bitch? This dude is a double degree holding fighter, or was. That's the reason why Lou DiBella, Eddie Hearn, these guys knew his background. That's why he spoke so well. This guy was doing this because he loved to do it. You see, he didn't need to do it. He had people that, look, his mom was a translator, okay? You know what I mean? And his father was a fucking doctor. He was Cliff Huxtable, for Christ's sake, but an immigrant. His mom was a translator. He went to college and got 2 fucking degrees. Think about that. Degree in nutrition and a bachelor's degree in wellness. Do you think this guy needed to box? No. But this is something he loved to do, obviously, because it's not like, oh man, this shit got me off the streets, and this happened, this, man, we had it wrong, and shit, roaches and shit, had to fight roaches and dump them off the ground and all that. None of that shit. You know what I mean? This guy had a great, he's the baby of the family. Now you got to think about that shit, everybody else, and dealing with that. Fuck. It's crazy, man. It's really crazy. It's heartbreaking because this guy had, he could have left boxing and not even took the fucking fight. Went got a job making 60, 70 grand a year with the 2 bachelor degrees he had. He could have been a coach or something or more. It's crazy, man. Errol Spence should be suspended for drinking and driving. H Money, Mr. Zone. Why should he be suspended for drinking and driving? His license is suspended because it's a motor vehicle violation, not a boxing one. There's a lot of motherfuckers get drunk and drive their ass off. Pitbull, the rapper, he got fucking caught driving in Dade County. Okay? And they still gave him a key to the city later on. Doesn't mean they gotta suspend him or strip his shit. No, it has nothing to do with that. He just made a piss poor decision that shit he could have died in. So obviously, hey, you got a hard head, bust it, because he has a hard head. He hasn't learned his lesson. Again, we haven't heard what else Errol Spence has to say about it because people haven't really got to interviewing him yet. But the little shit that he did care to disclose was piss poor. It was. Let's just face it. Rest in power, Patrick Day, boxing monster. Absolutely. It might just be the law of averages catching up to boxing. Maybe so, man. Maybe so. Look at Zab Judah. Look at Adonis Superman Stevenson. those are cases. Now think about this, guys. Those are cases that could have been a totally different way. That shit would have been, if you had Zab Judah, if Zab Judah would have died, the type of fighter, the resume Zab Judah had, Amir Khan, Floyd Mayweather, Danny Garcia, Paula Malignaggi, Miguel Cotto, and then he dies? Dude, do you know what that means to the sport of boxing? Zab Judah is a known fighter. Unfortunately, Patrick Day was really not. And I do question if there was anything and everything they possibly did for him, because Adonis Superman Stevenson fell kind of in the same fashion. He collapsed. He went into a fucking coma. You know what I mean? And then everybody was there. Al Heyman was there. All these people were there. You know what I mean? He comes out of the coma, but it's like, okay, is there a respecter of person here? Do you know? Was there everything they could possibly do they done? That's my question. Because, yeah, we didn't know who he was. We didn't know if he was we knew he was 17-4. He had 4 losses. You know what I mean? We know he wasn't that guy that was known. Oh, man, you seen Patrick Day? He was a guy that was encouraged. He was focused and motivated to be someone to be known. Not this way, though. Okay? But, I just wonder, Patrick Carey, your calls were fire. It might just be the law of averages. Yeah, I want to get that shirt. Yo, this shirt's big, man. I seen this in DR. I'm going back next week. And, I got this in DR. Shit was super cheap, but good quality. You know what I mean? I go out there. I got family out there, so I go out there and just chill, K's Clay, you got to go to DR, get one, brother. You might find one in New York somewhere if you're lucky, but I got this shit. I want one with Presidente Light. So this is just the original. But because I drink Presidente Light, I'm going to drink a shitload of them next week. I'm going to drink all of them for you guys. All you guys are going to get counterpunched by the Presidente. And no, I won't be fucking drinking. I'll be drinking, but I won't be driving. Don't shorten the rounds. They've done that already. Yeah, well, they have. They've shortened the rounds. It went from 15 to 12, and so you're absolutely right. Don't shorten the rounds. I mean, this shit happens. This shit is. That's why boxing. Look at a UFC. Look at boxing. Let's do this. Okay, let's do this. How many UFC deaths have you had? No. How many UFC deaths have you had? Okay. Did anyone ever die in the UFC? Okay. All right. Former UFC fighter Tim Hague, whatever. Age 34 after knockout in boxing.
Hi, what can I do for you?
Okay, you're way too late. Okay, at 34, that was in 2017. So, obviously, when was the last death? Okay, let's look at that. And this was as of 18. Yeah, the last one that was reported was in 2017, so that should tell you we had 3 this year. So in comparison to UFC and boxing, which is also a full contact sport, right? Because you can use elbows, knees, you know what I mean? Kicks, chokes, submissions, all that good stuff. But no, boxing takes the fucking cake. It's the bitch of the bunch, people. As his dad was a doctor too, and his mom didn't like boxing, thought it was too violent. Antonio Matthews, that's crazy. Now they're really gonna hate fucking boxing. Now, every time they hear the word box, they're gonna cringe. You know what I mean? So, you can't blame them though. That shit happened. If that happens to a family member of yours, how will you feel about this sport that we love, that we hate so much? That I know I love, that I hate so much. And this is the part of it that I hate, but you have to respect it. You have to give the good and the bad, the yin and the yang. You know? I've never been in the ring. How hard is it? His head took a good blow. K Slays, let me tell you something. If you respect, look, spar at least once in your life. I don't know how old you are, size, I don't know. But if you're in any type of shape, okay, and you know how to fight, get into the ring. Step into the fucking ring. Do one round. At least that. You owe yourself. I don't mean a one. You know, Kay, I'm assuming that that you're a male. Do 3 rounds. Okay? Then you will know how hard it is. Then you'll know it's just you and another motherfucker trying to punch you in the fucking face. And you're trying to stop him. You're trying to stop him from punching you in the face. In return, you want to counterpunch him and turn around and punch him in the face. And then still have enough stamina and endurance to last 3 minutes of this shit. Oh, with headgear on, with gloves. It's different when you're punching somebody, right? Versus putting on gloves. Wraps, gloves, it's heavier, people. So you think you're doing this and you're really doing that. Yeah, it's a difference. It's a difference. Screw up Cornwall's progression real bad. It could, Antonio Matthews. Only time will tell because, you know, again, the good son. Shit. Where's my brain? I'm about to say Vinny Pazienza, but shit, I don't know. Max Baer. The good son. Why do I know the good son and don't know his name right now? I just was talking about him. Boom Boom Mancini. There we go. Okay, Ray Boom Boom Mancini. That fuck with him. He never stepped back in the ring. Never. You know. But you know, we'll see. He said it wouldn't. He wrote a letter. Express his concerns, but you don't know. He might get back in the ring and just probably can't even pull the, you know, can't hit the gas no more. So you don't know. I think boxing commission should start using headgear in pro boxing fights to limit damage boxers take to the head. You know what? That's actually flawed, Stone Neil Anthony. And let me explain why. Actually, when you're wearing headgear, it's more of a target because if you have something here, if anybody ever sparred, understand, you're either going to have headgear that protects like this or headgear that comes around like this. Either way, you're going to have a pad that protects this part around your head, okay? You're going to have this. It's a thick pad, right? Of course, you have the rest of it, mouthpiece, okay? Now, what it does is, they've done research on this. It gives you a target. It gives a fighter a target. So in amateur boxing, you know, you're hitting that target, and that's a point. You know, you don't want that in pro boxing. Pro boxing, you don't have that. So you can slip, and you're more visible. You're not, you know, you can see, but it's basically, this is how you're looking at. If you ever put on some headgear, this is how you're looking at it, like that. So if someone's punching up here, you're not going to see it as much, because they're punching up there. So they're punching your forehead. They're punching this area. That gives them a target, and they've done research on it, and they say, well, actually, that gives you more brain damage. Because basically, the glove is hitting the padding, and the padding is hitting your fucking head. It's headgear, but you're still getting punched, people. You have to understand that. So Stone Neil Anthony, no, that's not a good idea. You know, that's actually a bad idea, you would think. But if you think about how I explained it and counterpunched it, it makes sense. You know, you're just actually adding insult to injury with that. Because it makes your head a human target with limited vision, okay? Joseph Stylen, okay, I'm not Nama Shiva Yava. Okay, I guess that's Haitian, right? Okay. Chris Serrano, yes, sure. I mean, if someone uses drugs to cheat in boxing, they should never box again. Well, here's the thing, Chris. Like, motherfuckers have done it. People had took the 6 months, didn't get shit, they didn't get fined and none of that shit. I think it should be more stringent so people can get the idea because they shouldn't cheat. But here's the thing, all these deaths had nothing to do with drugs. So we go there as a reminder and we reference that shit, but it's no reference here. Now, the only way that would matter, again, if somebody tested positive, then they fucked around and killed somebody, then we can implement that. That's the only way. Until then, we can't, because that didn't happen. That's just like, you know what, you could have killed somebody. Yeah, you could have, but you didn't. You know, if you would have had a gun, you would have shot someone. No, doesn't work that way. That's in boxing are very hard to prevent. It's like base. Now, here's the thing. Now, I will say this, Chris Serrano. If a motherfucker's taking drugs like Jarrell Miller was doing, and his mindset, like Deontay claimed he wanted to, if Jarrell Miller's mindset was to take drugs to physically hurt someone, and he had all the bad intentions, yeah, that's fucked up. Because now you're using that as a tool to do some shit that you couldn't even do naturally. So you're trying to do it by injecting yourself with this shit or, consuming the shit in some type of way. I don't know, maybe you're shooting it up your ass. I don't know, don't care. However, it's like you're trying to do this to gain, to hurt. So because your intentions are bad. Yeah. For that, yeah, you should never be in the sport. And if you could prove that, and like Jarrell Miller, yeah, if he, like, let's say if he didn't get caught and this motherfucker let the Joshua fight go on, he fucked Joshua up, right? You know what I mean? And Joshua was badly fucking hurt, knocked out, whatever. And then they test this motherfucker and he has so many drugs in his system that, damn, that he should open up his own block, his own drug corner, right? Depending on what happens with Anthony Joshua, that should be a fight that he should be suspended for some years. You know? And this ain't his first rodeo, people. Oh, no, it's not. Not Jarrell Miller. Deaths in boxing are very hard to prevent. It's like base jumping, race cars, riding horses. The sport will always have its risk. Mala, you're absolutely correct. That's what we deal with. That's what it is. You don't know what effect it will have on him psychologically going forward. In the future fights, he may be scared to put his power into punches and hold back. John Cable or Cable, you're absolutely right. Because you don't know. I mean, he says, I'm going to use it as motivation. He doesn't know. He doesn't know that until that time comes. He has to cross that bridge when he comes to it. Mr. Conwell has to know that when it happens. Then he'll know. Okay, is this shit still for me? He'll know at that point. But until then, he won't know until he gets there. So, I mean, look, the regret's a motherfucker. I mean, I'm sure he's sorry. I'm sure he's feeling like shit. And it sucks for every fucking body. It sucks for the family. It sucks for the brothers. It sucks for the trainers. It sucks for the other guy. It sucks for everybody around it. The promoters, the managers, everybody. It sucks. However, he did what he felt right. Hey, and this is before he died, he wrote that letter. So he was hoping he would come out of it. So he was hoping that Patrick read it, but he didn't. He died before he could read the letter. So the red letter is basically for everybody showing his condolences because who he wrote it for didn't really write it. So the people that heard it, like us, right, are the only ones that see it. So since we're the only ones that see it, that's what it is. He is a guy that he just did what he thought. Like, hey, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that shit. It was fucked up. I wish I could take it back. Okay. But then, I'm going to use it as motivation. You don't know that. That's just something that he wrote on paper. Let's see what he does. So it may stop him. But if it's not for him no more, I can understand. Boxing ain't for everybody. And then look, boxing ain't for everybody for a certain amount of time. Okay. You don't stay in boxing forever. Ask Andre Ward about that. It's only temporary, people. You see fighters talk about that. Andre Ward talks about that and talked about that all the time. You have a certain window of time when you're a professional boxer, just like any other sport. Basketball, football, you name it. Probably with the exception of golf because it's more about finesse than power and all that. But in, physical sports, tennis, boxing, baseball, football, basketball, all these sports, you have a certain window of time where you can only do that effectively on a certain level. So it's not for us. It's not for that guy Okay, it's not for a person the whole life. It's only for a short amount of time. Joshua mentions that, like, dude, I'm gonna be dead one fucking day. I can't. I'm not gonna do this forever. Deontay Wilder talks about that. I ain't gonna do this shit forever. I want to be an actor. Things go on. So if it's not for Charles Conwell no more to fight, he has a damn good reason. You know? So, he shouldn't feel bad about it. He should just know what is. And the reality of it is he fought and he killed a man and it fucked him up. And he can't do it no more. That means he doesn't supposed to be in there. If he can't pull the punches, he shouldn't be in there. Why? Because somebody could fuck him up. Because he's holding back and someone's still trying to do their job. This is still boxing, people. So if Charles Conwell goes in there and he knows he can't push the gas, he should be like Oliver McCall and just be like, no, I don't even want to fight. Like, fuck it. Walk out like, you can't walk out like Ajaba's fighter, but definitely know when to say, you know what, this ain't for me. Cut these fucking gloves off. I can't do it no more. It's okay, though. It's okay. Because boxing is only temporary anyway. That's why when you got good fighters and they're hot right now, hey, that's why they should fight the best fights now while they're at the highest and top of their ability. Not after they're all washed up and all that shit. You know what I mean? Because it's only a certain time where that torch is going to burn hotter than any other time. So it is what it is. That's why this hurt boxing. The Patrick Day is a role model. Not a lot of boxers hold a degree like that. He did respect to him, well spoken. I took a liking to him when I first heard him speak. It's so true about that. You got someone because the sad thing about that is he could have done so many other things in so many other categories, unlike boxers typically. Okay, so he could have. Shit, like I said, he could have been a coach. He could have been some type of teacher, which is what coaches do. He could have used those degrees for all types of shit. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. He was doing this because and it was sad. This is what he wanted to do right now. Okay, he was only 27 years old. This is not something I'm pretty sure. Look, you don't get 2 degrees and say, you know what, fuck that, I want to box. Because that's what I always wanted to do. It doesn't make any sense. He wanted to box right now. But he got those degrees so when he was ready after the sport is done him, however it's done him, then he can move on to that knowing he's already made the qualifications and the preparations of doing exactly what he wanted to do. You know what I mean? So glad the ref stopped AJ from fighting. So glad he could have been in the same shoe. Gentleman's game. There's no fucking telling. You know what? We'll never know. See, people talk that shit, and it's a such thing called pride, and pride kills people. You know what I mean? Look at Apollo Creed. I know that shit's fictional. I know it's fictional. But shit like that happened. No, you ain't stopping nothing. And he got out there and got his ass killed. And, that happens with boxers. It's testosterone. Their adrenaline's up. They ain't gonna, no, dude, I'm fucking good. I can get this guy. I can take this guy. Right? So, but yeah, gentleman's game. Yeah, that's right. So, and Joshua wasn't complaining that hard. You see what I'm saying? He wasn't like that upset over someone stopping him. He's going to push. He's going to talk shit. He's going to complain. No excuses, right? I mean, he mentioned it later on. Like, hey, I was confused with what the referee wanted me to do. Nah. Right? He didn't complain like someone that knew, because he knew. I've been down fucking 4 times. I know, like other people probably don't, what's really going on with me. That shit could have cost him. If he had a concussion, Andy Ruiz, and the way Andy Ruiz was throwing them fucking bows and combos and shit, he's throwing 5 or 6 of them motherfuckers. And 3 or 4 of them are landing out of the 5 or 6. Nah, man, that could have, you're right. Great counterpunch, gentleman's game. Because gentleman's game, we don't know what could have happened to him. We'll never know, which is a good thing. So, but again, he wasn't really complaining that hard. He seems some like, what? But he wasn't complaining that hard. Wait till a high-profile female boxer dies, the heat will really hit the sport. Ooh, Mala, don't say that. Let's not talk about that now. We're not talking about women losing their lives here. You know? Brittany Devine, I agree, gentlemen's game. I was yelling for the ref to stop the AJ Ruiz fight after the third knockdown. Yeah, well, he did exactly what you wanted in Brittany, and that's what happened. Smoke. UFC deaths is much rarer than boxing. Absolutely, Smoke. Great counterpunch. I was just talking about that. The last death they had was fucking almost 3 years ago. Okay, 2017. It's almost 2020 now. They ain't had one since. So yeah, this is the most brutal sport. Okay, we're not kicking shins and knees and shit and legs and stomach, face, chest, neck. That's it. Those are the targets. All the main organs, balls sometimes. Or sorry, vaginas for the women, right? So no question, boxing is more dangerous. Yep. No offense to those who are not Christians, but I do believe there is a God. But you Christians, Muslims, Hindu, or whatnot. Okay, Big J. I hope he's in a better place. You know what I mean? If he was called home, right? Let's hope that's what it was meant to be. Someone with 2 degrees, he died what he loved doing. I mean, can we make peace of that? You know? Does it stop it from sucking though? No. But let's hope you're right. Let's hope it's right. Let's hope that's the case. You know? I don't watch a lot of UFC. How many rounds are the fights? Well, if it's non-championship, it's 3 5-minute rounds. If it's a championship bout, it's 5 5-minute rounds. So that answers your question, Mala. J Real 504 Music. Yo, look, Kirk, I touched on this subject with Patrick Day in the comments after the news broke. I stated I didn't want to hear another person call any fighter a bum. Show the proper respect. Okay, well, who called anyone a bum though? Never said anything about a bum, somebody being a bum. You know, not like Paulie from Rocky. He's a bum. You know, Jimmy the Gent. 5 rounds for there you go. Yeah, yeah. Went through that. Deaths are more common in boxing because it's an accumulation of concentrated punches. With MMA, you can strike a lot of different areas. In boxing, you can expect over 50% of the strikes to be headshots. Absolutely, Phil Carl Roberts says, well said. Great counterpunch, man. Great counterpunch, because that's absolutely right. Jimmy Shorter fights, and they don't focus on the head quite so much. They focus on kicks. They focus, a different, depends on who they're fighting. UFC is very diverse. It's very, you got to know who you're fucking with. You got to know if that's a primary striker. You got to know if that's a grappler or wrestler. A jiu-jitsu guy. So if you're fucking with a jiu-jitsu guy, never to go to the ground. That is the worst thing, and you're not that guy. You're not a good wrestler or grappler. And even if you are a good grappler, does that mean if you get on the ground, you can fuck with that guy? Because he's primarily a fucking jiu-jitsu guy. His ground game is way more advanced than yours. So, yeah, you want to know who you're fighting. So it is what it is, So that's why people cling to that. They jail to that, especially if they train. I trained MMA for years. Started when I was 8 years old, along with boxing. So I know both aspects of fighting. Taekwondo to kickboxing to Muay Thai to Thai Kempo, then to MMA, which is goatee. So I have done the different variations of different martial arts and respected. With that, jiu-jitsu, jiu-jitsu is that shit will drain you. You have to know what you're doing. And a little motherfucker can submit you just as work. Matter of fact, probably easier because he's small, and if he can move and he's more mobile than you, he got you if you're not in shape. So you have to be in shape, wrestling around on the ground with a motherfucker. So I can't imagine how Charles Conwell feels right now. I hope the brother doesn't fall into a depression. I don't think I could step in the ring after that. J Real 504 Music, man. Let's just pray for everybody overall, man. Hope the best for everybody, because the death to Patrick Day, other people, that's other people's burden. That's his family, his brother's burden, his warm circle of people. You know, uh, Conwell, Charles. You know, he's got probably more fucked up city feelings than anybody because he has to deal with it. This motherfucker probably can't even sleep. You know, what if AJ lost his life after the first Ruiz fight? The fight should have been stopped. Looking back, and now fans standpoint, AJ wasn't right after the first round knockdown. Look, we have to look at all these. Look, not just Anthony Joshua. Look at fucking Cotto. Cotto was being cheated, people, by Antonio Margarito. Right? This was before the Pacquiao fight. Let me tell you guys something. Pacquiao, Cotto. Pacquiao was beating Cotto to the point where I went because we were drinking. I was at my boy's house. It's, of course, it was like 2009 or whatever. And Pacquiao was giving Cotto a beating. Now, we know Cotto was a victim to fuckery by Antonio Margarito. The very next fight, he had some weird shit going on with his gloves. It was cracking, and that was after the Cotto fight, after he stopped Cotto, ripped his fucking face all up, took his first L as a pro. Next fight, he fought Mosley, and then Nassim Richardson, his trainer, seen that fucking raps ain't right. Boom, out pops this plaster of Paris shit, right? He was exposed. Okay. After that, Cotto went to fight Pacquiao. Pacquiao started to dismantle Cotto. He had hurt Cotto, I think, in the fourth, dropped him in the fourth, and took him down again in, I think, the seventh or eighth. And, Cotto had already suffered, but see, here's the thing. Cotto had suffered damage prior. So we know this was a damaged Cotto fucking with Pacquiao, which was already a dangerous opponent. Okay? So Pacquiao was giving him such a whooping. And, I'm like Brittany over here. I'm like, I went and took a piss. I prayed for Cotto. I was like, dude, please stop this fight. You know what I mean? Good night to you, Chris Serrano. Peace out. And they stopped it in the 11th, finally. You know what I mean? Because Cotto was fucked up. It was gone. He took a lot of punishment from Pacquiao. Pacquiao was being Pacquiao. He was putting them together. He was hurting them to the body, right hooks, straight lefts, you name it. He was hitting Cotto with that. So you see, like, dude, he's taking too much fucking punishment. You might want to talk to the 35-year-old Brandon Marshall. What's going on with Brandon Marshall? I don't know who Brandon Marshall is. Who is that? This is also why Nigel Benn and Evander Holyfield have no business making any sort of comeback in their ages. Holyfield can barely speak properly as it is, and these days has no business coming back. I agree. I wouldn't be for any, maybe some exhibition shit, maybe. But, like these guys, and both of those guys, the Warrior, no, man. No, I'm not for any of those guys coming back. Maybe for an exhibition or something like that. Spar, fuck. You don't have to go in there and prove nothing to nobody. But I think that's probably a result of pride. Again, pride is something that fucks with us. Especially as men. We manly men, alpha males, I have to prove something. Not worth it, man. May he rest in peace, but kind of looks like Devin Haney. You know what? He does look like Devin Haney, don't he? He looks like a bigger Devin Haney with dreads. With braids. Sorry. But you're right. I just thought about that. CMD boxing reports. He does look like he could be related to Devin Haney. Yeah. Same skin color, same nose, same facial features and shit. I see that. Yeah, definitely. It was word for Pac-Man when he fought Thurman. Even Pac said he had some of the heaviest hands he ever faced. Yeah, you know what? People don't give Keith Thurman enough credit in that fight. Keith Thurman was coming back. The knockdown put Pacquiao ahead, and then, Pacquiao had those fast hands, but then Keith Thurman showed why he was who he was. Despite despite him fighting Earl Spence or ducking Earl Spence, he wanted the bigger fights. He got the bigger fights, and he proved why he should have been in there in the same ring with Manny Pacquiao. And Pacquiao did take some punches. Oh yes, he did take some punches, and we seen him looking old. I seen him looking old. The thing that got people, he hit him with that liver shot. And we know, everyone that knows Keith Thurman, that's his kryptonite. He's weak to those punches. He took his mouthpiece out and he circled around the ring away from Manny. Manny know he hurt him, but he did give Manny some fucking business. It was a split decision loss in favor of Manny Pacquiao, people. You know? So it is what it is. People have a tendency to call fighters bums. It's a disrespectful fight. Yeah, I agree, And I said that actually in my follow-up video. MMA, you have not got grit, you got quit. That's why my Wilder is a donkey for saying he wants a body and a resume. I couldn't, you know what? I will. Counterpunch one-on-one. I mean, to me, I would be asking questions that make people like, you know what? Don't ever have me interview that motherfucker again. Because those are the questions like, well, how do you feel about these 3 deaths in the ring? And you said you want a body in the ring. So how do you feel about them? Do you want to be that guy that receives those deaths? You still want to be that guy? Or is that the bronze bomber? Who is that? Right? Luis Resto versus Billy Cons. Yeah, that was shitty, Curtis Anderson. Counterpunching you. That was very, very fucking bad. Okay, Marshall, the next football player from the Jets, won a box calling out A.J. Wilder. Gentleman's game, we'll see. I'll look him up and counterpunch him later. Oh, NFL wide receiver 6'6" talking about fighting Wilder. Okay, fuck with Wilder if you want to. To this day, I want a body in the ring. It might be Brandon Marshall. It might be Brandon Marshall. They don't duck me, son. Keith Thurman wanted to fight Mayweather. Yeah, he wanted to fight someone. Look, Keith Thurman is satisfied now. I think he's earned his keep. I think he done exactly what he set out to do. He said, fuck Earl Spence. He ain't big enough for me. I want Pacquiao. He got Pacquiao. Okay, so he wanted Floyd first, but he settled for Pacquiao. Pacquiao, you got 2 legends. You got Floyd, you got Manny. Floyd, is out of the game. He's out of the business now. So this is what it is. This is also why people should knock boxers for wanting to make big money if they can. If I got to get my head beat in or beat up, then I'm going to cash out too. Counterpunch to you, Brittany. Absolutely. That's why people should respect those big paydays that boxers receive versus UFC. You don't have deaths like that in UFC. No? Right? It's a more dangerous sport. Can we agree? Yes. So that's why boxers need to receive more money. That's why. So if Dana White wants to come over on this side of the street and manage fighters, he needs to know how to pay them. What's up, ABS number 1? Counterpunch squad. Absolutely, brother. Counterpunch to you. We have less than a minute on the chat. But everything that I talked about concerning Patrick Day, my heart goes out to this fighter. He was a smart man, well-spoken, educated, good family background, and he will be missed by a lot of people. Even the people that don't know him, right? Wish they would have knew him. I knew people like that. That, man, every time you ever hear about someone that died, then every time you look around like, man, you heard about what happened to so-and-so? I didn't know him. Let me tell you about him. So if they got a story to tell you about that guy that passed, that makes you long or want to, like a moment of misadventure, What do you think about David Benavidez? What happened to David Benavidez? The fuck happened to him? Brittany Devine, absolutely. Good chat. I'll see you on the next chat. Brittany, counterpunch to you. What happened to David Benavidez? Something happened lately? Counterpunch to you. Candy Crush. Counterpunch in the house. But anyway, nothing. He's potentially, yeah, he's good. He's really good. He puts punches together. You know, he reminds me of Manolo from Scarface. Like Scarface's right-hand man. He's like a Stephen Bauer, like a big-ass Stephen Bauer. Great conversation, Little Rascal. Usual, Counterpunch. Counterpunch Squad, absolutely, Little Rascal. Philip Carl Roberts, Clay Slays, Candy Crush, Brittany Devine, Antonio Matthews, ABS #1. Everyone has been Counterpunch. We'll see you on the next chat. And you guys been counterpunched. Peace and good night.